In this exercise tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through how to use the recumbent bike in your gym. And today we're specifically looking at a Technogym Recumbent bike. I'm going to be going through the setup, how to actually execute the cycling, how we know we're in the right position, and of course then the fancy touchscreen interface later on in the video as well. So firstly, when I see clients get into the recumbent bike, there's two questions that they ask. Firstly, where and how do I know what position the strap should be in on my foot? And secondly, a lot of clients will say, actually, it's quite hard to get to the straps. So firstly, what I'll tell a client is the strap should be just below the bottom lace. That's where you're going to be fastening it into. And what I do is, we've got these handles here on this bike. This would help someone come up or sit down onto the bike. I'm going to have one hand on here, one hand on this yellow lever. I'm going to pull it up. And now, when I'm setting the straps up and I'm tightening them, I'm in a position where I don't have to crane forwards with my back. It's going to be a lot more comfortable. And here with this yellow lever, I just pull it up. And as I pull it up, it's tightening my foot in. As a rule of thumb, you don't want to have the foot so tight where you feel like you're losing circulation in the foot, where it's really tight and it's getting quite uncomfortable. Also, you don't want it so loose that your foot could slip off out of the pedal during the exercise. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And once I'm in, I'm ready to go with the exercise. Now, secondly, how now do I get into the right position to know that I'm cycling correctly? Well, now that I'm in, fastened in, ready to go, I need to make sure that I'm not going to, one, hit into the bike. I would know that for me, I'm not going to be able to cycle very well here with me knocking my knees. And I'm going to bring my clients out to a position where they've got a soft bend in the knee at the furthest point away. So if I've brought them too far, I would know because they've got no bend in the knee. If they're too close, they're going to be hitting onto here. So I'm looking to bring them to that sweet spot where there's a slight bend in the knee. Once I've got my clients in position, feet are completely straight. I'm not bending them sideways or pointing the foot either side. Feet straight, hands on the handles. That's going to read the heart rate as well. I've got little plus and minus buttons on either side here, and that's going to increase the level of resistance or decrease, dependent if I press the plus or the minus. They're then going to be cycling, chest up, looking forwards, and of course then they're close enough where they can actually get onto the touchscreen interface as well. So let's go on to the touchscreen interface now, and we can go through all the settings. Here is the main screen of the touchscreen interface. So what you'll see firstly is you'll see the My Wellness Cloud. That's where you can log in, you can track your workouts, and you can look at statistics over time. You might just want to press the start button initially. That gets you into cycling and it gets you onto the main screen. You've then, if they're set up, you've got TV channels. So some people don't like to just look at a screen. They might want to watch the television, or they might want to go onto YouTube. Alternatively, you can go onto the web, you can tune into radio, or you can just decide to do outdoor circuits. So you'll notice here, there's lots of different places you can cycle. So it's a little bit more interactive when you're doing your workouts. If I come back onto the main screen, some other things you can do. Some people like to set up to do a goal of exercise where they're doing a certain amount of time. So here, if I click the time schedule, I can toggle here the amount of time that I want to be cycling for. And of course, if you're logged into the My Wellness Fitness app, you'll be able to log these workouts as you go along. If you're looking for something interactive, you can click exercises. You can then decide to do either exercise where you're doing hills, cross training, burnout. This is where when you do the actual cycling, you're automatically going to have the resistance taken up and down as you do your cycling. So that way you don't have to press for more or less resistance. As you go up a hill, for example, you're going to have more resistance. As you go downhill, it's obviously going to put you onto a lower resistance. So again, it allows for an interactive nature when you're doing the exercise. And of course, lastly, if you want to do cross training, and we go on to effort level, we can decide to do an effort level that's going to be really hard or really easy. So dependent on where you're at with your cycling, again, you can make it more interactive. Of course, you can put in data here which makes calories a little bit more accurate, so your age and your weight. Most individuals will just start off with going on to the quick start, and when you press the quick start, you'll notice on the main actual screen you've got the time, the calories, the distance that you've done. This is in kilometers on this machine, the amount of power, so the watts you're generating, the amount of moves, your heart rate if you've got your hands on the handles of the heart rate monitors, and of course the level of effort and resistance and speed of revolutions per minute. Again, on this main screen, you can decide to look at all the interactive features. You might decide that you don't want to be looking at this for the whole time you're doing your cycling. You might want to watch the TV, go on the web, go to radio, YouTube, or alternatively, you might want to go onto things like Facebook or play games. What I would generally suggest with clients, if they're looking at this screen and they like statistics, just to stay on the machine and on that. However, a lot of clients like to have a little bit of something more interactive. For example, they might want to cycle in Italy or Marin County, and when they're doing that, they'll actually notice that as they're cycling, you'll have a picture where you can actually have something more interactive, and you can always change it if you get bored. Do remember, when you're cycling and when you're done, just bring yourself to a full stop. Again, what we want to do is bring ourselves closer towards the machine by using the handle yellow lever on the side. And you'll notice here, where we was tightening it, we have this yellow little hook lever. Just above it, we have this thinner black lever. As I pull that out, it then unfastens me from the machine. I can do exactly the same on the other side, and I can use the handle here should I need to get up out of the machine. That's how to use the recumbent Technogym style bike in your gym.